Hagwan versus public school. I've done both, and this is my story. I used to work at a Hagwan, but now I'm at a public school, and honestly, the change has been a big deal for me. I'm sure you're asking yourself, what is a Hagwan? So in South Korea, students go to school after school. So they have Hagwons, which are private academies. It can also be a kindergarten. It can also be an English academy, music academy, or any other subject that students learn after school. And obviously, public schools are government schools. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the right space with Teacher Neo. If you are new here, welcome to the family. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much. We really love having you. From the title of the video, you have seen that today we are having a story time. And not just any story, but my personal story. Yes. All right, so let's start. But before, let me introduce myself. Where are my manners? Anyways, my name is Newaletswalo. I am a qualified teacher from South Africa, currently living and teaching English as a second language in South Korea. Now, let's start with how it all started. So, back in 2017, I was enrolled at Tshwane University of Technology, where I studied my B.Ed, Bachelor's in Education, and I specialized in the FET General, which is Computer Applications, Technology, Mathematical Literacy, and Life Orientation. And it was beautiful. I really loved it when we started doing our practicals. I knew by then that, okay, teaching is my thing. I knew that, all right, this is my God-given gift. This was my passion, you know. By then, I had already made up my mind that, okay, I'm staying here. This is it. This is me, you know. But COVID happened, and in 2019, when we had COVID, I started like surfing the net because a lot was happening and everyone was in panic mode. And at that time, I was really into YouTube. I used to watch YouTube a lot. And I bumped into the videos of the likes of Palesa, the likes of America, Anna, and so many people that were actually teaching English in South Korea. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I saw people in China, I saw people in Korea, and I was like, okay. This looks like something I can do. I mean, I'm a traveler, I'm a butterfly, you know. I'm very spontaneous, and I really wanted to explore. It has always been my dream. So I decided that, okay, let me just do some research. Since it's COVID, I was at the university, but we were not doing anything. I was just allowed to stay there because I was also part of the leadership at the institution. So yes, PAX. So as I was just sitting at university or at rest at that time, I had so much time on my hands. I had Wi-Fi, I had everything that I needed. So it was very easy for me to do my research. I then started doing some research on South Korea. I think South Korea caught my eye because I saw a lot of people in South Korea. Then later I started seeing some people in China and Japan. Yes, and from the research, I then decided to focus on South Korea as I had looked at the culture and I decided, okay, I think I would do well here. I think this is my kind of vibe. Something like that. Now, fast forward to 2021, I graduate and I get my first job. I substitute at the nearest public school in my area, and it was all nice. Everything was great. I think I got my first paycheck after 3 months. So it was not a smooth journey, but either way we are grateful. Then after substituting, I think for 6 months, unfortunately 2022, the teacher that I was covering for went back to the school, and I was left unemployed. So I was unemployed for a good 3 months also. And in that 3 months, of course, I had saved some money. So I was doing door to doors. I was going around, I went to Limpopo. I just did a lot. I was panicking. Because one thing about me, I don't want to be, I don't want to lag. No one wants that, actually. Poverty is not my portion. Later on, I went on LinkedIn and I typed that, my name is Nao. I have, a degree here and here and here, and I want to do this and this and this and this. And I was later recommended by someone to work as a learning designer for UCT Online High School, working for Valencia Institute, and everything was remote. So I was working full-time from home, 2022. And I think that's where I remembered that, oh, my girl, remember you had done some research? You remember Korea? You remember you had done your TESOL certificate? Oh yes, and I did my TESOL certificate. I know a lot of people will say that you don't need your 120 TESOL certificate if you are a qualified teacher, but remember it was COVID, and at that time I had so much time on my hands and I needed to do something. So I just decided, let me just do it, and it was very cheap. I think I used the coupon Balisa Jonasi at that time. She had some promotion, I think for 300 or something, and then I did the certificate. So as I'm now working from home, I'm like, okay, I love this, but remember we have a dream. So that's where it all started. Then I got my paperwork and I was just in a rush to leave. And I loved designing. I really loved working as a learning designer, but that was the most difficult work I've ever had to do in my entire life. I'm telling you. And I think it was because I was a learning designer for Sepedi. I know. I applied and I agreed to the job. I know, it's my fault, of course. But I know Sepedi. I'm very good at writing Sepedi and all that, but I'm not so good at speaking. I don't think I'm fluent in any language actually, because I changed schools so much during my primary years. So I did a lot of languages. I did Sizulu, I did Sesotho, and I did isiZulu, I did Sesotho, and I did Sepedi. So yeah, by the time I was doing Sepedi, I was actually very much grown. So anyway, I passed Sepedi very well on my matric and also my university. I actually got a distinction in both matric and university. So of course I would qualify for the job, and of course I would push myself to say do the job. But was it easy? No. But was it worth it? Yes, because of that job, I was able to now gather my documents, pay for everything, save to come to Korea. And that's where everything actually started, because at that time I decided that, okay, let me not go through EPIC, because it was a long process and I needed to be in Korea as in now, today, because the job that I was doing was very draining. I had sleepless nights. I was working very hard, and I had to learn in the job. So I had to study and work at the same time, because some of their technologies I did not understand. Some of the things that I had to do a lot of research in Sepedi, the dialects, the language on its own. I figured that I did not really know the language the way I thought I did. So yes, I decided, okay, Korea. And then I was like, epic, Hagwan. I was like, Hagwan, my dear, quick in a hurry. We all want fast things. I was like, I'm taking this one. This is very quick. I finished my documentation, and then I went to, Dave's ESL, started applying, and voila, I got interviews, like a lot of interviews, and I decided to go with the school that I came with here to South Korea. And it was a Hagwan, of course. It was a kindergarten, and my role was to be a homeroom teacher to 5-year-olds. And I was also teaching elementary school after school. So after the 5-year-olds leave, I will then have to teach elementary school. And it was all normal. When you do your research, you realize that, oh, okay, this is how it's done. Of course, I looked at blacklisted schools. I looked at, what to expect, what not to expect, and all those things. And yes, 2023, April, whoo! Here I was landing in South Korea. I had taken the leap of faith, and I was very excited. Of course, as I should be. I was very proud of myself. I was happy. Everything was just going as it should. And I was I was very welcomed at my Hagwan. Everything was amazing, But why did I leave? I left because, number one, it was a kindergarten. I knew when I was applying that it was a kindergarten. Like I said, it was my fault. Wait, before you judge me, I've always thought I love kids. And remember, like I said, I am qualified to teach FET, right? So I am used to teaching high school students. Then I thought to myself, I actually need a break. I need to teach younger students. That was me challenging myself. And I've always thought to myself that I love kids. Kids love me. I can do this. Yeah. I'm funny. So that's why I chose to come through a kindergarten, but that's the reason why I left my Hagwan, because it was a kindergarten. I later realized that, I love kids, but not to that extent. And I left because also I worked long hours. So I was working from 9 to 5:30, and when I say from 9 to 5:30, I mean it. I was standing all day from 9 to 5:30 p.m. No breaks. Not even lunch. I used to eat with the kids. Ooh, trauma. And also there was no appreciation. You would go, the extra mile, but there was no appreciation. There was too much comparison. It was a big Hagwan, so we had teachers from all over the world, from the US, from Canada, from the UK, from New Zealand, and South Africa, and there was just so much comparison that was so unhealthy. I stand to be corrected. I'm one person who's willing to learn. And of course, it was my first time in the ESL industry, but also I know what I bring to the table. I know what I can do in the classroom. I've had 4 years of practice. If you are someone who knows about TUT, we actually do our practicals from first year. And I also, got to work professionally as a professional teacher. And yes, there were things that coming here I had to learn on the way, but the comparison was on things that one cannot really control. They would compare maybe the voices. We all don't sound the same. We don't have the same accents. I cannot be having an American accent as a South African. I mean, that for me, that was just too much expectations. And that was not something that was mentioned on the interview. Right. And yeah, I think the appreciation thing really got to me a lot. And also sometimes we would work on weekends, which I do not appreciate. I do not. No. And let's go to how I left. So how I left was very easy. So I had come to Korea or to the school with a 10-month contract. I know. It's crazy. Who takes a 10-month contract? I did, because I thought I was going to renew with the school and all that. But that was the best thing for me, actually. Little did I know. Sometimes the universe reveals as it should. I did not know that in just 3 months I would want to leave the school. And luckily for me, in that 3 months, I had only 7 months left now. So when I was in around 6 months in it, I decided to approach Kovia. I came with Kovia. So I had applied for my school through Kovia. So I then approached them again. I was like, hey, I'm thinking of going to another school when my contract ends. And they were like, oh, sure. What kind of school do you want? We actually have options. And when is your contract ending? And I told them my contract is ending in February. And they were like, oh, sure, that's great. That means you can actually get public schools, because also we see your resume here. You are a qualified teacher. So it should be very much easy now with the experience, And I was like, yes, of course, yes. Public school, give me any program. They were like, which city, Gary? No. Flexible. Do you want to go back home to rest? Nope. I am starting. On the day they want me to start, I am available. And Kovia really assisted me. And of course, my principal at the Hagwan was not happy with my decision, but I had signed a contract with them and it was ending and they could not force me. And Kovia also told them to send them the reference letter, because they had refused to give me the reference letter. But Kovia spoke to them, because it is your right, okay? It is your right to get a reference letter at any job that you had served your contract. If you worked for them and completed your contract, you are deserving of that. Not even deserving, you have every right to get that reference letter, right? So yeah, the principal said, oh, she'd rather send it to Kovia. And I was like, okay, cool with me, as long as you're just sending it, which they did, and I'm very much grateful. And yes, I got interviewed by my school. It was a direct hire. It's a public school. It is under a program called JEPIC, which is under EPIC, but in the Gyeonggi province. So it's mostly rural areas. And yeah, I was over the moon for the shift. But now let's compare. Let's just check the differences. All right. I do have some notes here with me. So the differences between a Hagwan and a public school. Number one, the working hours. Like I had said, at my Hagwan, I worked long hours, and here I only work the normal hours, which is 8 hours. So at my Hagwan, I worked, I think, 9 hours. I think that the one thing that is too different with the working hours are the actual teaching hours, because at my public school now, I only teach for 22 hours per week. And at my Hagwan, I taught the whole day. I even ate with the kids. Okay, that was supposed to be like another difference. But anyway, let's get to it. I ate with the kids, and here I have my own lunch by myself. I just go and eat and have a break and have an extra break, you see. And then number two, the difference is that the flexibility. At my public school, I am very flexible in my teaching. I use the national curriculum, but also I can tailor my lessons to my students' needs. I can add in some events. I can add in some games. I can just do a whole lot of things. And at a Hagwan, they had like a fixed curriculum that actually boxed to you, and they had their own way of talking, of walking, of they just wanted you to be a robot and just move the way they tell you to move. I did not appreciate that. Anyway, and another difference are the vacation days. Of course, vacation days. Who doesn't need vacation? We all need to rest. We work so hard, And at the public school, I have 26 paid vacation days. At the Hagwan, I had 11 vacation days. Yearly, 26 and 11 in a year. Okay? And let's go to sick days. At my public school, I have 11 sick days in a year. At my Hagwan, I had 0 sick days. So if I was sick, I was forced to come to work, to go to work, or to just go to the hospital, get some meds, and go back to work. So that's how we did it. And also the difference is that at my public school, I do not work on weekends, and at the Hagwan, I used to work some weekends. And the last difference is that at my public school, I do not have any homework. I do not have any marking. I do not have any kids' notes to write. At the Hagwan, I had some marking to do. I had kids' notes that were so long and so stressful and so unnecessary. Yeah, it's quite a hard one. It's a difficult one. I know the differences are too much, so one thing that I will say is that yes, I would always choose a public school over a Hagwan. I will prefer for one to go for a public school. So if you are planning on coming to South Korea, if you are planning on coming to teach in South Korea, I would strongly advise you to come through a public school. And I know the EPIC process is tedious, but there are other programs. Don't just look at the EPIC program. There are so many programs that people don't know of. Just approach Korea. It handles most of the programs in South Korea, or you can just research the programs, just go through the programs and apply directly to the programs. And if you ever find yourself coming through a Hagwan, because sometimes life happens and you just need to get out of your country and just move to South Korea, maybe because of unemployment or other reasons, but if you find yourself working at a Hagwan and feeling the need to leave, remember that you have options. You are not desperate, okay? Just make sure that you finish your contract and finish your contract in a very good, approach. Make sure that the vibes are still positive. Make sure that you are respectful, and make sure that you sometimes just say yes to everything and anything. just, yeah, humble yourself. That's all I can say, because you need them to write a reference letter that will be appealing to your next employer. So know that you have options, and don't let anyone tell you that, oh, you can't live here, we brought you here. Oh no, girl, I can. As long as I can finish my contract, I actually have the right to leave, and you have the right to that reference letter. And if maybe they are doing other things, maybe not paying you on time, make sure that you record those things. Make sure that you keep receipts, make sure that you keep conversations, keep screenshots. Make sure that you have something to defend you if you ever find yourself in a situation that is unfortunate. And if you're already in South Korea, also do join the union. You can also join our support group, the Mzansi Beyond Borders support group. We will try to advise you on things to do if you ever find yourself in that. But so our goal as Mzansi Beyond Borders is to support each other in the unfortunate events of death, hospitalization, or if you ever need any assistance financially. We do have a monthly contribution, and also we also have an event coming. We will or might be part of the Seoul Africa Festival, and if you are interested in just contributing, showing your culture, your talent, your South African attire, or any African attire that you have, you are most welcome to come in September 13th. Yes, September 13th. So be willing and be flexible to joining support groups. You need a community, and also know that you are not alone. Reach out to people on social media if you can. Also join groups if you can. I know a lot of people will say that, oh, but Hagwons pay more and public schools pay less. That is not true. Yes, the public schools has scales, right? But if you are someone with experience, or if you have a teaching degree, your scale is a bit higher. And also the difference is not that much, I will tell you that. And at public schools, you also get some benefits like the rural allowance if you are in the rural areas, and if you are on traveling schools, you also get an allowance for that. And there's really not much difference. And you also get your bonus money if you finish your contract, and also for renewing you get a bonus, and also you get peace of mind. I think that is reason enough to move to a public school or to come through a public school. Your mental health, because living in a foreign country can be draining, and yeah, you really need those vacation days also. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know which option sounds better for you, and which options did you go for if you're already in South Korea, or if you've ever taught in South Korea. And if you are thinking of coming to South Korea or have already started your process, which option are you taking, or which option would you want to take in the future? Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. This is The Right Space with Teacher Neo. See you in the next adventure.